This video will not question how old Ash is. Why? Despite what the theory channels and crafters will tell you, Ash is still 10. I know many people say the concept of him being 10 is stupid and will do things like compare heights in the model sheet. However, a narrative like Pokemon doesn't need to follow real-world logic like time and space. Stories aren't math textbooks. I wanted to focus on how much Ash aging would actually change anything, or at least how I think it would change anything. I do this because a common thread I see with people who want Ash to age is that aging him would somehow make his journey worth it. There's seemingly an immutable sense of progress for his journey if you age him up by a year, and I can see how people believe that. When Black and White came out, I remember the discussions about the infamous first battle Pikachu had. Yes, the one where he loses to a Snipe. That, along with Ash forgetting fundamentals of Pokemon training, was our first indicator that Black and White was going to be a soft reboot. In rapid succession, we learned that Ash is 10, he loses to a starter, he forgets the fundamentals of Pokemon training, and it's sort of one of those you had to be there moments. People argued over whether Black and White was even in the same continuity as series prior. Coupled with the dumbest league loss ever to Cameron, and some stupid, embarrassing idiot plots like Alyssa's gym, can we really wonder why so many people nitpicked the hell out of the continuities after this? People cheered when we saw a return to form in X and Y. However, we saw plenty of arguments over whether Black and White was still canon to this series or not. Despite Black and White leading directly into X and Y, and fans subsequently called Sun and Moon as a flat-out reboot, despite plenty of evidence to the contrary. When Misty and Brock showed up, I remember people arguing that this was simply a new continuity where Ash went to Alola right after Kanto. And then Journeys waltzed in and said, no, all the series are in continuity. No wonder everyone wanted Ash to age. That would mean that the continuity would be set in stone. There's this impression when you age a character that their stories and accomplishments mean more. After all, you put several years of your life into following this guy, even for one series. That's 3 years of your life invested into this. Shouldn't the kid get some years on his life? Except that doesn't happen. This isn't like the Petrified Forest, which is frozen in time. The anime's past is a work of fiction, and fiction is subject to being overwritten. And it gets overwritten quite easily. The comic fans in the audience might know what I'm talking about. Because I saw it happen with Spider-Man. He aged, he got married, and it was all wiped away with a single storyline. And if what followed was any indication, that wasn't out of any grand plan. Nobody at Marvel thought through what this stupid storyline would actually entail. Conversely, there are series where the characters do age, but they don't do much with it at all. In fact, I'm willing to argue that Disney Channel sitcoms like Jessie was less about the characters developing and more about how your perceptions change because the cast ages both in-universe and out. After all, a character extorting another person for money as a little girl is kind of funny. However, when a similar joke plays out when the character is a teenager, it's the same joke, but it's not funny, it's just creepy. Now let's talk about the other common element in the room when it comes to Ash should age arguments. The other argument is that Ash should age because of shipping opportunities. I mean story opportunities. While I have plenty of opinions on shipping, almost none of them are relevant to this discussion. The ones that are relevant goes as follows. Aging up Ash doesn't really mean much for shipping in my eyes. Honestly, I don't care much for it when it comes to this series, but here's the thing. If the writers don't capitalize on him aging, then what really is the point? If he was bumped up to age 13 or 14, I don't think it makes much difference in plot if the narrative plays out the exact same way. I really don't see the point in aging Ash through the series because I don't see how the anime could and would capitalize on it. Besides, appeasing the shippers, I guess. He's not like Tai from Digimon, where he was the hero, he became the mentor, and he had to deal with growing up. Because on a fundamental level, Ash's problems are more similar to Spider-Man's problems. A personality that depends on the writer. A narrative that ignores skills and abilities acquired in previous series in order to keep dramatic tension. Embarrassing or downright idiotic plot. Peter was 15 when the spider bit him back in the 1960s. He is closer to 30 in the year of our Lord 2024, and while there have been moments where he was able to grow and evolve, shoddy writing destroyed all that. Then again, Marvel has had instances where aging the characters was just the beginning of their character assassination. Alex Power of the Power Pack was 12 when he started being a superhero, and I have yet to meet a Power Pack fan, all three of them at least, who have actually liked his stint on the New Warriors because he stole his siblings' powers. Thank goodness for later writers picking up that mess and fixing it. Though if Ash hypothetically aged, I don't expect him to undergo character assassination at all because this isn't a comic book. Character assassination happens in comic books as often as people come back from the dead. Pokemon would never allow Ash to get character assassinated like the fanfic writers do. It honestly feels like they would play it rather safe rather than do anything groundbreaking. Need I remind you, the old formula was only broken in 2016. You know, the 20th anniversary of Pokemon as a whole. This is just a nice long way of saying if you want the eternal protagonist character to age, then you better have an arc thought out for them. And I think now is the best time to just simply age him up. He's no longer the protagonist, so an older Ash could reasonably work, while you can say that his younger adventures still did happen, it's just like a flashback. But please don't do a next generation story. Those are just my thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. Consider commenting if you agree or disagree. This is Cyril signing off.